Okay, so hopefully you watched the introduction video to see what we're doing this week. So we're going to go ahead and start off with just regular triangles and how do you label them and what are their parts. One of the very last, I think maybe the quizzes or assessments that we took on Schoology kind of opened my eyes up to, we're not as a whole class understanding the parts of a triangle. So this is just going to be a quick tutorial on those parts of a triangle. How do you talk about them? How do you describe them? All that fun stuff. So we know that a triangle has three sides. Okay? This is obviously a scalene right now, right? There's nothing marked. So it could be just your normal scalene triangle, or, if we go back to elementary, we just call it a triangle. We know that a triangle has 3 points to it, so those are known as and I'm just going to label those two. Those are named as the vertices, which is the plural form of vertex, okay, where two lines come to meet at a point. So it has 3 vertices. We know that a triangle has 3 sides, okay? Since this is just a regular triangle, then it's known as sides. Sometimes where we get a little confused is when I drew a right triangle earlier in the year. We know it's a right triangle because that little square, which means a 90 degrees. So this is some sort of right triangle. Remember, just the triangle is the symbol of how we write it. Remember, we're lazy mathematicians. And then we kind of talked about how the longest part of the triangle was the hypotenuse. If you've seen those posters where there's a hippo that lays down that slant, that's the hypotenuse, which means it's the longest side. And the way that we can tell that is the hypotenuse is because it's across from the right angle. Now, the other 2 sides of the triangle are called the legs. So this is a leg, and this is a leg. And that came in big when we were talking about those 45, 45, 90 triangles, those 30, 60, 90 triangles. But the legs always make up the right angle. Hypotenuse is always across from the right angle. Now, where we kind of got a little rough with the terminology is when we saw a triangle that looked like this, which it's obviously not a right triangle. And let's say the sides of this triangle were 6, 7, and 9. Okay, you guys can easily point out that the smallest side is 6, the largest side is 9, the middle side is 7. So since 9 is the largest side, then that is what it's called, just the largest or longest side. It is not a hypotenuse. So a hypotenuse only belongs to right triangle. It's a part of right triangle vocabulary. That's it. Anything else is just in a triangle, they're just the sides. So leg and hypotenuse reserved for right triangles. These are just sides, okay? So side, side, and side, but in a right triangle, leg, leg, hypotenuse. All right, so let me erase this real quick. We know in naming a triangle, we name it by its vertices. Now, they always use, usually the first 3 letters or the first 3 letters of the alphabet. So a triangle, you always have to use 3 letters. For any polygon, when you're naming it, however many sides there are, vertices there are, you'll use that many letters. So if it's a square, then it would be square A, B, C, D. If it's a polygon, A, B, C, D, E, and so on. So this triangle right here, if I write it out long ways, which we wouldn't normally do, but it's triangle ABC. I would expect you to just write it out as triangle ABC. I think that's really just it in naming the triangles. I just need you to recognize that, and I know it seems super simple, that there are 3 points, the vertices, there's 3 sides, and then to name it, you have to name it by all 3 of the points. And it has to go in order, which there's no way to get out of order in a triangle because there's only 3 sides. So this is triangle ABC. Could be triangle BAC. Could be triangle CBA. And since there's 3 letters, there should be, 6 combinations, 9 combinations in there? So CAB, BCA, Yeah, 9 combinations, or no, it's 6 combinations, sorry. Alright, so hopefully that helps out with that. Then also know that in a triangle like this is just side AB. This is just side BC, and this is just side AC. It's a non-right triangle. Let me put that up here. It's a non-right triangle. So they have sides. Whereas if it's a right triangle, they have one hypotenuse, which is the longest, and then it has a leg and a leg. Now the legs can either be equal or they can be not equal. Doesn't matter. But that's how it is. So legs, hypotenuse is a right triangle only. Non-right triangles have sides. Super important. I'll probably just put together some sort of assignment for that, or I may just make this video assignment. You'll just check it out in the folder for April 13th. We're going on to the next episode.